Hello everyone, and welcome back to Critical Role this week, where us crazy voice actors play a nerdy game of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm so glad you guys can join us. VOX MACHINA, after completing the trials of the Slayer's Take and acquiring their marking brand as essence of them joining the actual guild itself, meeting the Gynosphinx responsible for the development and the progression of the guild itself, having Pike join them for about a week time while the landscape of her temple to Sarenrae was being cleansed of a curse, and the group decided to follow through on their promise to aid Keyleth on her Aramente to find the Pyra people to the far southwest of Vasselheim. They made their way to the mountains, eventually to the actual Pyra tribe itself, where they underwent a trial through the plane of fire, the elemental plane of fire, battled some of the druids of the Pyra themselves in elemental fire form, combated against time through a cinder storm as they attempted to escape, managed to do so with their lives, and in doing so, gained the blessing from the Aramente for Keyleth from the Pyra tribe, as well as a blessing from their main druid as well. Returned to Vasselheim, Pike then said her goodbyes again, returning to help the restoration of the Temple of Sarenrae, and you have all been left to your devices now. So, as you all awaken the next morning within the guild hall itself, your journey and your path is your own to take.
We wake the next morning. Beard check, please.
Beard check.
That's 100.
Are you serious?
That's the second time that's happened.
0.
All you had to have rolled was like a 9 or anything other than a 0. That's all you would have, anything.
0.
With a tiny methodical squeak, your pores produce but a few random molecules of hair-like material that then in the air around your chin.
Is it at least rough? You know, like, oh, he needs to shave, it's so rough.
Smooth as a baby's bottom.
Hello!
Oh,
Scanlan!
Hello, Scanlan. Where have you guys been?
Scanlan, you just
Around?
missed-
What? Pike?
Did
Wait,
you really
what? I mean, I was having a fun time, but I would have dropped everything to be with Pike. I wasn't even at a brothel.
You were.
I walked toward the brothel, but then I bumped into Zara, remember? Zara?
yes.
Zara.
She invited me over, we talked all night. One thing led to another. Nothing untoward, but we just had a nice slumber party. It was lovely. It was me and a couple of tieflings. 3, I think. We were doing each other's hair, telling stories.
That sounds like a wonderful time. It's all right that you
Yeah,
missed Pike.
except I would have dropped everything to come to see the woman I love,
But
the woman
then-
of my dreams, the woman I will marry and bear children with.
Yes, of course.
wow. That got
I don't
really
know if
real.
she'll bear
Yes.
mine or
I
I'll
don't know
bear
if I've ever
hers.
heard you say that out
Yes,
loud.
how does it work with
was
gnomes?
very impressive.
It's tricky.
I
And
say
if
we.
we're going to leave, could I make a small request?
You want to try again, don't you?
I have a bit of a chip on my shoulder. I want Kern.
Okay, we're gonna go find Kern.
Are
we
gonna
going-
go find Kern?
Sure about this.
Hang on. Are we gonna go find Kern and do this with rules, or are we gonna do this without rules?
Without rules, you would win.
You would win without rules.
I can't do it. I have to do it by the rules.
As far as the matters at hand, I, of course, Grog, encourage your violence. And Taliesin, I do like the idea of going back to Imani and
What did you just?
who?
Who did you just?
Grog.
You just,
And then you just said.
you just NPC'd me.
sorry.
You just NPC'd me all over the place.
I'm sorry. I was speaking Draconic again.
Yeah.
Percy.
Did you say you encourage my violence?
Of course.
I take up running out of the room.
Bounding poof.
Type you have to
the
be
guild hall.
careful. You have to be responsible.
Was
with your
there a window in the
encouragement.
room?
No, not this one.
He's going to do that.
Could have made
We're gonna do a Looney Tunes hole in the wall.
As you make your way into the main thoroughfare, you look over and you catch the image of the distant Goliath heading northward towards the braving grounds, just plowing through the crowd. You see a couple of people that are like knocked flat onto their ass, kind of like head shaking. What just happened? As he just goes bounding into the distance. You make your way up towards the Bellows Respite Inn, to where the crucible itself is held in the center. As you approach, it is midday. There's no crowd gathered. The crucible is currently emptied and kind of left on its own. You kind of glance about for a second, and there's nobody here running any sort of fight ring.
Damn it. I'll have to come back.
What are we?
Kern! Kern!
As you were shouting it into the air, a few people nearby
But
kind
the
of.
Star Trek reference is good.
Once Lucky Ned, who is the person who runs the tavern, he's like a human barkeep that wanders out and. What? Hugh, Philip, yelling Kern, and you see this look in his face like.
Bring me the body of Kern.
Other members of the tavern are starting to come out, tankards in hand, like here. What's going on? They see you. It's gonna be a fight at the Crucible. You hear the shouts going off in the nearby house. It's like echoing, like town crier to town crier. You're hearing voices echo throughout the entirety of the braving grounds, and people preparing for this midday, unexpected, sudden throwdown. Some of the core bastions kind of gather, one of which you recognize as the one who was acting as the bookie the first time you came to the Crucible. And he looks, his eyes are kind of wiping sleep from his eyes. It looks like he just got into his armor and rushed out here, over about 10 minutes since you first came out here and shouted your challenge to the sky.
Mighty it properly that you are challenging our standing champion once again.
You heard right.
He glances over to another bastion that's to his left. Get Kern. No. He rushes off. At this point now, there's probably about 20, 25 people that begin to gather around the outskirts of the Crucible or around you. You're going, oh, it's Philip. Philip's showing down with Kern. And there's all these different whispers now going throughout the crowd as the rest of you kind of gather. About 20 minutes pass by as the crowd has now gathered to about 50 to 60 people. Apparently, word of your last battle has gotten around, and now there's this fevered pitch of interest. People have dropped what they're doing, and the smokestacks you can see have slowly turned to a dribble as everyone who's working the nearby forges and or smelting irons have all rushed out here to see this battle and dropped what they're doing.
I turn to the bookkeep, and I take out my entire coin purse, and I throw it at him, and I jump into the pit before Kern even arrives.
Okay, you leap down as the whole crowd goes, yeah! And this series of shouting screams surround the air around you. He grabs the coin purse. How much is in that coin purse?
1,363.
1,363. Okay.
I run up to there's a bookie here?
There is a bookie.
I run up to him very subtly, say, I'd like 100 against Grog, please.
Okay. He looks down at you and says, not bad. Going with the odds.
Right, yeah.
It's 3-1 against him.
500 gold pieces on Philip.
On to Philip. All right. You guys see as in the distance the crowd, which has probably gathered to close to 70 plus people, begins to part. And you see walking over, soot smeared across the front of his face. Stepping up is Kern the Hammer, bristled half-orc mustache, a little bit tousled from a day of hard work, sweat glistening off the top of his brow of his shaved head.
hair.
As he approaches, you can see, there has been some healing through the quick work of the clerics that worked after the last battle. However, there is definitely a section of his upper lip that is permanently missing, looking almost like a half-cleft palate. You can see beneath it his sneering yellowed teeth kind of grinding as he approaches.
I'm gonna bet.
You gonna bet?
I'm gonna bet. I'm gonna put 600 on Philip.
Whoa.
At this point, the crowd kind of separates. Everyone's kind of this tension mounting. Everyone's eyes are on Kern as he steps up to the edge of the Crucible. You now notice the dark figure. The noonday sun is now high in the sky, and you can see but a little bit of the shadowed outline of Kern, muscle-bound, looming over the edge of the Crucible.
You! Do you like the gift I sent you?
I reach into my belt, and I pull out his upper lip, and I give it a smell. I say, I've enjoyed it very much. I've come to collect the rest. And I fling it into the pit.
Hits the ground.
You're not wearing the medal. A shame, really. I thought you'd be more proud of your status.
Leaps down into the pit right before you. With his grin on his face. People are now swarming the bookie, like handing gold left and right. He's making notes in this little ledger out of his pocket. People are beginning to gather around and crush against the outsides of the Crucible. Some people being careful, almost be pushed in. Kern's kind of glaring at you, and you guys are slowly circling each other.
You've been training, I see. Good. So have I.
Oh no.
He goes and takes his wineskin, pops on the top.
Oh.
Surely, a man of your stature would honor me by sharing a drink before this battle.
Takes. Throws you the wineskin.
Meh, I don't drink such piss water. I pour it out, I take out my own wineskin that I filled with the stone giant strength,
Yes!
and I chug it down.
He's juicing. He's juicing.
It tastes very heavily of like black charcoal, and the actual liquid itself has a very, very gravelly texture as it goes down your throat. You can feel chunks getting caught, but you just push through and continue gulping it. It's thicker like a molasses than it is an actual liquid. You finish it off, toss it to the side. Go ahead and mark your increase to strength for this.
I got it down already.
All right.
We have here in the Crucible this day a rematch of Titans. Kern, the Hammer!
The crowd.
Come on, Kern! Come on, Kern!
Raining on you, copper, silver, and gold
Make it
pieces
roar.
on the ground around you, Grog.
Philip!
No! Yes! No! Philip is dead. There is only Grog, the vengeful.
The entire crowd, like the energy itself is electric in the air. Eyes are intense and bloodshot. Everyone is looking down into what is about to be, hopefully, a drag-out, throwdown fight. You feel the rippling strength of your stone giant elders tearing through your body as the muscles tense. As you're doing this, you see across the way, Kern cracks his knuckles, and you can see now the giant scar from his snarling lip. You realize he hasn't been snarling this whole time. It's just the natural state of his current smile. And then he snarls. You see the forkish tucks protruding out, and the gums themselves, black and purple, peering out from underneath his upper lip that you once destroyed.
I'm gonna take yours this time, boy.
Enough words, Toothless. Let's do this.
Roll initiative. All right. As you're prepping for the circumstance, you're up first, Grog. You have initiative.
I race towards Kern, and I duck down as if I'm gonna go into a form tackle towards his waist. I take a step to the side at the last second and wrap around my arms around his waist from behind, pick him up to DDT him over my shoulder.
Go ahead and make an athletics check.
25.
25.
18 plus 7.
Waiting.
He rolled a 23, 15 plus 8. So you rush up behind, he goes in for the feint, attempts to parry it, however, you vanish from the side as you lift him up off of his back and whack, send him onto the ground.
6.
6, all right. He is currently prone. Rush forward, he is prone on the ground there. As you slam him onto the ground and release him, he falls to the ground, you hear this exhale of pain. All right, you also have a bonus action still.
Does it take an action to rage?
Takes a bonus action for you to rage.
Which is what this is.
Yes.
I would like to rage.
You look down at him, and the skylight, the light that's pouring down into this from the sun that was once white and yellow in tone, now turns to red as your eyes focus on your quarry before you. Kern uses half movement to stand up, bites the edge of his wrist and tears a chunk of his own flesh off the side of his arm. Uses his bonus action to rage.
Oh, shit.
Goes into his frenzied rage as well, and it's just come at you with both fists. One thing you notice, strangely, Kern, who previously just seemed to throw haymakers at you before attacks, goes into a stance.
Oh, shit. He moved up.
He's been swinging.
And just goes in to swing 2 heavy fists at you. See, 24?
That hits?
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right, 9 points of damage.
Okay.
It's 8 points of damage.
You got
Whack,
9 points
whack.
of damage?
Yeah, and for this, just for those who are paying attention, they're both raging. They both take a half damage, but since they're both doing it, we're just negating both abilities. Otherwise, this battle would take for 3 hours.
Right.
Whack, whack. These fists you see as they hit you, they're not just extremely strong and powerful previously, but they're hitting precise areas where you feel the muscle and bone is less resistant. There is technique to these punches that was not there before.
No problem. No problem.
Got it.
I would like to enter a frenzied rage. I see him move, and I throw a back fist into the concave area of his nose.
Okay.
23.
23 hits.
6.
6 damage?
Yes.
Alrighty.
As he's reeling back from that hit, with both of my thumbs, and throw him towards his eyes.
Blind that.
So go ahead and make an athletics check.
14.
14, that is going to be a 16 on his end, unfortunately. As you reach up, he slaps the hands away. His defensive posture, he was ready for that sort of advance and just knocks him to the side with a grin.
I take my right leg and I throw it to the outside of his kneecap, trying to snap his ACL or MCL.
Okay.
27.
27 does indeed hit.
7.
7 points of damage. Woof, all right. His leg muscles himself are like a tree trunk and takes most of the impact of the damage, and you see him, you see the pain on his face. His grin gives away to a sudden grimace of pain. Your leg is now held in place. He resisted the full force of the blow to some physical damage himself, but not enough to knock the knee out. As you're moving to the side, he spins around this time. You have not seen him yet use his legs to this extent, to a full back roundhouse kick towards your head. 20?
That hits.
19?
That hits.
12. No, 13.
That misses.
Whoosh, swings around, completely unexpected as you pull to the side. It smack hits you right square in the side of the face and jaw. 7 points of damage.
Okay.
He brings the leg back, jumps in the air, and does a secondary jump side swiping kick to the other side of your head as you're kind of loose into the side. Whack, whack. Second one doing 8 points of damage.
I see you've been taking some ballet. How very cultured of you.
I rush up and give him a little nasty the last time for a double thunderclap to either side of his ears.
Ooh, okay.
13.
13, unfortunately. As you go to swing, he ducks out of the way and your hands slap into each other.
I'll see where his ears are, try and grab them, and I'm gonna attempt to rip his ears off of his head.
Oh,
Yeah!
His nice pointy ears.
16.
16, no. As you go up for the one ear, he parries it to the side with his hand.
Third attack. 14.
14, knocks
Three
him out of the
rolls.
way. He still has the force behind him, but whatever he's picked up now is completely throwing you off. You weren't prepared. You were prepared for a bruiser. You've now seen still a bruiser, but with a little more refined technique, and it's throwing you off your game. You need to resettle yourself. You need to pull yourself in, Grog. However, in that moment of thinking, he swings at you with a double pummel towards the torso. Natural 20.
Oh!
13.
Oh, miss.
9. Or sorry, 10.
Okay.
So first one hits, second one misses. 14 points of damage.
I would like to use my stone's endurance to...
Go for it. You flex, feeling the strength of the mountain kind of fill your body, your ancestral roots of your stone giant brethren fill your form.
16.
16. As the fist poof, finds the side of your stomach, the iron-like form that is your torso just stops his fist in its place. You see him kind of pull away, shaking his hand. As he shakes away, he brings up his other hand to backhand you. You just duck out of the way. He swings with a kick around with the momentum, and you just catch it in the middle of the air.
I'll keep that leg up in the air. I'll move it over to my shoulder, take both of my hands up, and bring it down on top of his kneecap, hyper-flexing the leg. 26.
Yeah.
8.
8 damage, all right. The knee, a normal human's leg would have hyperextended, but the sheer size of muscle in this is comparable to your own, and you feel it definitely hurt, and there is like a yelp out in pain, but it's not enough to fully pop the leg back.
What's the matter, ballerina? I thought you should be stretched out and ready for this. And I reach back and I drive my fist into his nutsack.
Roll the second attack.
25.
25 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
8. My first 8.
Nice. So as you come down, whack, slam it right into you. You hear this, this almost wolf-like screeching howl as Kern's head lifts up in severe pain. His hands come down and grasp your wrist and is now holding it, trying to pull it away from his midsection. He's in a very bad situation right now.
Aim for the knee or sweep his feet.
Sure, go for it.
That'll miss. It's a 13.
13. As you pull back to sweep, Kern uses this advantage to bring up the other leg that you haven't hit, plant it right on your shoulder and neck area, and then push off your body. As you sweep underneath, he leaps backward, flipping in the air. Poof! Lands on both of his, kind of clutching the inside of his groin area, like shaking off the pain
motherfucker.
through the anger.
As that's happening, we all start a chant.
As they're chanting, I'm starting to sing amid the chant. It's the eye of the Goliath, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of that asshole. And I'm trying to send inspiration to him.
With that, you hear through the fury, through the anger, that the chant, your real name, not Philip now, your real name.
Right.
And through all that, you hear the gentle hymn. Scanlan's voice cut through all that and come to you with a beat, a rhythmic beat that drives you forward. Go ahead and take a D10 inspiration. Looks like he's coming in for a left, and then sweeps down to try and take you from underneath, breaking through your defense. A 20.
That hits.
10 points of damage.
Jesus.
Right to the chin. Kern, however, comes back into a fully defensive position, riding his hands and leg on kind of a backward stance, and is just looking at you, ready for you to come. Is using his action to go into a dodge.
I jump up in the air and throw one thrust kick towards the side right, towards his chest, just to see what his defense will do.
Go for it.
Oh, God. Mother bitch.
Well, that one was a natural 20, but it's 19.
19. That just barely hits.
An 8.
An 8. All right. Well, you rush up, whacks him, and he puts the defense out and tries desperately to push to the side. However, his defense is imperfect. You can see he's still new to this fighting style, and you still manage to push through sheer force and slam him into the side of his torso from the impact.
I leap forward again and try and throw my thumbs into his eyes.
Okay, you're going for the blind again.
15.
15.
Oh wait, you're
I'm
gonna
not
use
even-
it.
Oh! The thing!
If you want to use it.
No, that's a 22!
So you have hold of his head now. There's no damage to this round, but you're enabling yourself now for the rest of the round to attempt to. And you see like his eyes kind of open with this like look of fear
Open
and
up wide.
unexpected ferocity from you. Go ahead and make an athletics check now.
Come on.
24.
24. He rolled a 19.
6.
6 already. As you grab hold of his head, you grin as your thumbs push into his eyes. He yells out in pain, and before you can damage the eyes permanently, he slaps off of your hands so hard with such an intense ferocity that you can't help but feel your actual force be blown back. He's clutching the side of his face, and for the next round, he is blinded. Kern does attempt to sidestep over. Is going to attempt to make 3 strikes at you with a disadvantage on all of them
Okay.
because he's currently blinded. 14,
Misses.
natural 20, or an 8. So it'll be a 16.
Okay, that misses.
Misses. A 19. Third one does hit. Whoosh, whoosh. You just, like they're a foot away from you. You just kind of chuckle, getting out of the way. And as you chuckle, he hears that for a moment his mind clarifies, even though his eyes are closed with a trickle of blood off the side of one of the eye. He immediately goes into a faster than you expected midsection punch that whack smacks you right in the middle of your laughing stomach. 7 points of damage.
Okay.
It is your turn. He's still blinded, so you have advantage on all these attacks.
Can I reach forward, grab his head and his shoulder, and go in for a bite attack at his neck?
You certainly can.
God.
23.
23 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
8.
Grog bite into the side. It's like biting into a tree trunk. His skin is so thick.
I eat bar stools for dinner.
You do, actually.
I do.
And the taste is similar. Your teeth grind in and you find yourself tearing into probably what would be the toughest steak you've ever tried to.
I pull back from the bite and I whisper into his ear, I was wondering what was gonna break first, your spirit or your body. And I would like to try and pick him up over my head and bring him down on my knee, Bane style.
Okay.
That's 25.
25. You lift him up over the top. Down onto the knee. I will consider this both your 2 final attacks, but this attack damage is doubled modifier included.
7, so 14.
14 points of damage on this attack. I'm gonna go ahead and make a constitution check on his end. The DC is gonna be the damage dealt. 12, so I don't have to beat the 14. So, for the purposes of this round, Kern is currently on the ground stunned. He loses an entire round of combat.
I reach up with my fingernails and I carve these scrapes down my face, and I leap up with both feet and I jump down on his head.
Go ahead and roll attacks have advantage on him because he's stunned.
23.
23 hits.
You know what? Just 3 of them.
Rage stomping on him. Okay, 3 attacks. Both feet down, wham! Right into the shoulder inside of the ribcage. You hear a snap as at least 2 ribs give way under the side, the sheer weight and force of your left foot.
20.
20 hits.
15.
15. You leap up again, bring down both feet a second time. One finds purchase in the ground next to him, while the second one hits him right in kind of the lower abdomen, kind of pelvis region. Whack! With this second one, you hear the scream as the air is nearly knocked out of Kern.
8.
8.
And 8.
Yep.
Kern, no longer stunned, gets up, holding the back of his side, looks back towards you, and lunges towards you now. It's going to attempt to grapple at you. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
That's a 1.
Do you get an advantage at all?
Nope, no longer blinded, no longer stunned.
Shit.
You are considered currently grappled. As a bonus action, is going to rear back, open his mouth, and attempt to bite towards your face.
No!
A 21,
That is.
10 points of damage, and you feel teeth grasp onto the sickening, sharp, burning sensation. Your upper lip is now torn from the front of your face. As you see Kern reel back, a streak of blood spilling off in the arc as his head pulls back, a terrible grin creeping across his smile.
I would like to attempt to break the grapple.
Okay.
21.
You rolled a 4, yeah. So you break from the grapple.
Am I back to the wall?
You're pretty close to the wall, yeah.
I'd like to take a step back, put my back foot on the wall, and then push off into the air with a huge overhand right.
Nice, okay.
22.
22 hits.
8 points of damage.
8 points of damage.
I say, you were supposed to be the only lipless one, and I soccer ball the shit out of those dimes between his legs. 25.
25 definitely hits.
7.
Alrighty. Oh! You've now repeatedly pummeled him into his man bits, and you can see there is a dark stain in the trousers that you pull your foot back, where you've definitely drawn blood in his nether regions.
Oh, corn!
He's got a bloody cock.
And you can see the face goes from pain, his eyes flash open with a blood-seething orc rage. Half-orc this may be, in this moment, Kern's gone full orc.
Okay.
And you can see, on his turn, Kern is going to, pulling your leg forward towards you. You feel yourself pulled off balance and the momentum pulling you towards him as he unleashes another flurry of blows.
As he
against you.
does, I shout out from the audience using my cutting words.
What do you shout?
Oh, Kern, do you need some dick? Because I gave some to your mom last night. That was a fuck, only 3.
It's okay. So his roll was a 21. That brings it down to an 18. What's your armor class?
It's 18.
18, so it still hits. Still, that was awesome. This one clocking you straight in the face, sending your head back. 10 points of damage.
Yep.
Whack! You fall backward, the force of the blow sending you kind of onto your heels. 15? I believe that misses.
Oh, that misses, yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's a natural 20. 12 points of damage on the third strike.
Okay.
The second punch just swings over your head as you're still reeled back. The third one, he runs forward towards you as you're pushed a few feet away and knees you right straight to the solar plexus. The impact causing the air to escape your lungs. And for a brief moment, you're having to pull the air back in.
Grog!
Grog!
Cover me!
Grog! Grog!
I cast healing word on Grog.
Grog.
All right, I'm gonna ask you to do a sleight of hand.
18 total.
One of the Bastions grabs your wrist and pulls you into his face and says, "I'm sorry, Missy. I don't understand that you're cheating."
She's foreign. She doesn't know better.
Go ahead and make a deception roll.
11 total, because charisma.
The Bastion says, "You're coming with me."
I see this happening.
Why do I always get busted?
I pull out 10 gold coins. That's all I actually had because I had 10 left. I pull out 10 coins and I give it. I was like, "Excuse, I'm sorry. This has been a misunderstanding."
You see 2 manacles clink down on your wrists from another Bastion to your left. And the Bastion's holding both says, "Apparently she's got people helping her out. Come on, we're dragging her off."
It's my turn.
It is your
I come
I'm
back
following
from
them
that
quietly.
knee to the
I
solar
guess have fun
plexus.
for Grog for us!
I reach up and grab the back of his head, and I just drive my elbow straight into his chin.
Go for it.
25.
25 does hit.
Yes! 8.
Alrighty.
I'd like to come back with a back elbow, same spot, boom. 16.
No. Whoosh, parries it to the side after the first impact, kind of sets his jaw off to the side again, snaps it back into place.
I see that knee that I've been working on. I throw my heel out and just try and pop it in.
Okay.
27.
27 does hit. Go and roll damage.
8.
8. All right. Pop! Your foot finds the side of the knee, and the knee, this time, buckles under the weight. Kern falls onto the one knee, coughs up this sputtering puddle of blood that then spills out in the ground. That blow is about to knock Kern over to the side, but Kern sits there and tenses his muscles. His head whips up at you, and that orcish glare, that sheer focus of fury that you saw once before, is holding him on the edge.
This is it?
No. This is my town!
And leaps up at you with a flurry of an extremely desperate half-orc. A 22 to hit,
Hits.
27 to hit,
Hits.
and natural 20.
Oh my god.
It's 10 points of damage.
10 points, okay.
It's 8 points of damage.
Okay.
It's 14 points of damage.
Right, okay.
What are you at?
So that puts me at negative 13. I use my relentless rage.
Oh! Oh! What is that? What is that? What is that?
Little boy's growing up.
You feel your body begin to fade from view, your vision begin to tunnel to black.
I just won 100 gold!
you feel that seething anger, that rage, that medallion that was given to you, the section of lip that is now missing from your face. Make a Constitution saving throw right now.
21.
21. You instead drop to 1 hit point. Your whole body snaps up into place again, and you can see Kern before you has this grin on his face, like he's just watched victory come to him, and then is torn away. His eyes open, and that half-orcish rage suddenly fades for a second as you see, for the first time, deep fear take the heart of your combatant.
I spit blood into the sand and I say, well, well, where have I seen this happen before? Time's up. And I run forward and in a massive arcing uppercut, I drive my fist under his jaw with everything I have.
Go ahead and roll for damage.
18.
18. As you rush forward, he, through the fear, still brings his hand up and slaps the first hit out of the way.
15.
15. The second one brings back and parries it to the side.
From the stands, I
See, like,
from the
I
stands.
lift up my shirt and I say, I love you, Grog!
Oh my God! It's her tits! It's her tits!
Don't distract!
At this moment, if that were to distract Grog, I'm afraid Grog would drop his rage.
Yeah, dog.
Never mind! I put my shirt
However, the entire other side of the Crucible right now is going, "Ah!" And they all burst into cheers.
I've missed the uppercut.
Missed the elbow.
Missed
Can
the
I
elbow.
can I sing from the audience?
At this, not right now.
God,
This is
let's
the
roll.
middle.
Let's roll.
This is the middle of his
Go to my
turn.
fist.
God!
You can
I'll
after
lower
this,
my
but this is
hand.
the middle of his turn.
And I just bring him down.
All right,
13.
13. Kern now instinctively slaps it out of your way, and you can see the fear begin to fade. And for a second, looks at you and
13?
sees truly how close on the edge you are.
You've proven yourself this day, but there is only one champion of the Crucible.
I guess I can still try.
Yeah, go for it. What do you want to sing?
With your arms and your fists and your legs and your wrists, it's in your head, you are fighting. That's all I got.
D10 inspiration die to you, Grog, in this pinnacle moment. So hold on to that D10.
Okay.
Kern, now intensely scared, is using his action to go into his dodge maneuver. It's like on the edge, you can see like one eye is swollen shut and is like goes into the stance to defend himself. However, as his bonus action, all of a sudden takes 2 steps forward and almost Bruce Lee 1 inch punches to your torso. It's 17.
Misses.
Misses. So while the speed is extreme, misjudge the distance and it stops an inch before your chest and you kind of look down at it, just barely stopping before it finds your chest.
Come at me.
He just come at me, bro'd you.
So all of your attacks are disadvantaged.
Oh my god.
I fine, fuck it, I just reach, like, with desperation that this might fall away, I just throw my Goliath fist at him.
All right, so first punch is
17.
Plus 10, plus 10.
22!
22. Roll damage.
8!
How do you want to do this?
As the fist connects and he starts to wobble, I reach over, I stand above him and grab around his waist with his back facing towards me. I lift him up over my head so that his head gets to come up and look at the crowd one last time before sending him straight back onto his shoulder blades and neck and smashing him into the earth.
With a resounding slam, Kern's body impacts into the stone floor of the Crucible. A cloud of dirt and dust around, rocks break off and tumble down the side of the walls of the Crucible. You can see everyone kind of fall silent. The crowd cheers all come to a sudden halt as Grog steps forward, head hunched beneath his billowing shoulders, fists clenched in anger, victorious in the center of the Crucible.
I put my foot on his chest and then with my best King Kong go,
Raises into shouting cheers, claps. The bookie screams out,
We have now a new champion of the Crucible! Grog, the victorious!
You hear loud boos, you hear curses shouted, you see people shouting off, throwing emptied coin purses off to the side, and then all of them fall suddenly quiet. The whole crowd turns over, and to the edge of the Crucible, you see standing over, a hood is thrown back on a figure that's been watching the entire fight. You notice an older human man in his mid to late 60s, tough reddish tanned skin, short but stocky, receding gray hairline with a long, coarse gray beard that tumbles to his belt line. He wears what looks like ceremonial robes of red and gold, simple wooden sandals, and a dark brown necklace of large 2-inch round beads that adorn the shoulders and neck area. His body is stout and ripped with muscle, trained over a lifetime of martial prowess and careful honing. He gives a nod and a smile, turns around, and walks away from the crowd, quietly, as everyone just kind of silently takes in this momentary experience. A few seconds pass, and then the crowd continues cheering once again. The clerics now come climbing down to the center of the crucible to retrieve the unconscious and bleeding out body of Kern.
I run over and grab my lip and pick it up and go, just between you and me, is there anything we can do with this?
Hold it there for a moment, and reaches out and administers a 5th level Cure Wounds. To making a medicine check to see how, yeah, that's a 16. You go ahead and heal 22 hit points,
Okay.
but you feel your lip fuse, and while it might leave a very small scar, it is in one piece.
I find Scanlan in the crowd, and I reach out and shake his hand. Oh, sorry,
Scanlan, are you all right? You look poorer somehow.
Oh,
Have you lost money? You look like you've lost money, right? Especially in the face.
it was worth it.
I heard your voices cutting through the crowd. Where are Tiberius and
I'm gonna
Keith?
use my earring right now.
I don't know.
They got arrested. I figured we'd deal with
We
that.
got arrested while you were fighting. Just so you know.
That man fought a brave fight. I feel we should go. You should go make amends with him. It was a respectable battle. You won't feel good about yourself unless you do.
At which point the bookie hands a sack of gold right into your hand.
Well fought,
New champion! And hands it to you.
Fuck that shit. I was about to. Chaotic neutral, sorry.
Never mind.
I was ready.
That sack of gold you get back contains 5,452
Yes.
gold pieces.
You know what's so cool about that, Grog?
What's
Is that you
our
said you were
return out
gonna
of
pay
curiosity?
back the gold that you lost me in the first fight.
I did, and I pay it back happily as I look at her
You're not
dragon
doing it.
eyes of money hoarding.
Okay, so you go ahead and work out that payback to
All
her.
right.
Handing money to Vex has sobered me up a little bit. I do walk over to Kern the Hammer and extend a hand and say, well fought, brother.
Kern's arms are currently draped over two of the clerics that have pulled him out of the crucible.
Well fought, Goliath.
And he brings one hand around one of the clerics and takes you in a Beastmaster
Yes! Strength and honor!
shake. Takes his hand back and it kind of hangs loosely to one side. He looks at you and says,
I'm proud to have finally found my match. When I recover, I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna want that championship back.
If I'm not here at the Crucible, because I don't think you need an audience for glory, you can always find me in Imon at Castle Grayskull.
Grayskull, so be it. Oh,
and hobbles away through a series of painful whimpers and whines.
your
Percy,
Billy D.
the bookie collects you. You bid at 500 at a 3-to-1. That is a 4 times return. You make 2,000 gold. There are 3 buildings off to the side, and you can see there is what looks to be a small station for holding.
Knock, knock, knock.
You knock, knock, knock. A few seconds pass, and the door kind of slides open a little bit.
can I help you?
Hi, yes, I'm looking for a couple of people. They're actually mental, patients, and they've gotten loose.
Vex, here we are. Hello,
Oh, that's them, yes.
We have reason to believe they may have been trying to fix and or rig their bets on the recent bout out here in the Crucible. That is a very serious offense here in the
I
Brave
can
Realms.
imagine it would be, yes.
However, I don't want to deal with the processing and the time take. So if these are indeed your charges and you're willing to fill out some paperwork and pay the fines right now, we'll relinquish them to you.
How much was the
Who are
fine?
you?
Oh, hi.
He's my lawyer.
I'm Burt Reynolds, Esquire.
Right.
I'm an attorney at large. I represent all manner of
An attorney at small.
escaped mental
An attorney at
patients.
small.
I mean, he's a gnome.
Make a deception check.
20.
Well, very well.
Small Reynolds,
If
sir.
you would like us to fill out paperwork, I have about 2 reams of paperwork for you to fill out to release them to us
Yes.
as well. And also, there will be court costs involved. Oh boy! And
court costs
triplicate,
are
you'll have to get your
extravagant.
supervisor to fill out this one, and I will need this one, and I will need this one as well.
500 gold's fine and we'll release them to you, all right? Is
500
that
gold.
fine?
That's fine.
Actually, for a small. Never mind.
Nope.
Let it go. Let it
Here you
go.
go. I
noped
noped
yourself.
myself on that one.
Nope.
There you are, 500.
He collects it. You guys make your way back to the Bella's Respite Inn. You manage to find the one Bastion who acts as the bookie, who is currently halfway through a very heavy pint and chatting with one of his friends. And you can hear there are stories now. People are retelling the tale of the battle in the cauldron, of the rise of Grog the Victorious.
Are there any small lads running about that are maybe like excited to see me or
Wait,
something?
what?
Or-
As
just
you
hold on,
guys
wait.
enter the tavern,
boys?
there is a sudden bit of whispered quiet. There are maybe 2 men looking in like their late teens to early 20s that who saw the fight and are currently like wide, doughy-eyed, and like seeing a hero before them.
I walk over to one
Life
of them.
young.
I pull out a gold coin. I say, "How would you like to make a gold coin, son?"
Oh boy.
From you, Grog the Victorious. Of course. What can I do? What can I
I
do?
reach into the bag of holding.
I can
I
find
take
you
out the
lots of young
second
boys.
place medal, the
Oh, thank
participant
God.
medal, and I go, "Make sure Kern gets there."
And reads it. Yes, indeed. Of course. He takes it and he runs off.
You sick fucks.
Sorry. Well, I mean, come on.
It's like
You came into a bar looking for young boys. What are they supposed to think?
To Grog the Victorious.
Was that amazing or was that amazing? I've never seen anything like that.
It was
At
incredible.
all.
With that bit of business, with the Crucible currently taken care of, the rest of your path is your own. What do you wish to do?
I just need to pick up a little bit of ore on the way out so I can work on making some more ammunition on the way to Craghouse.
Sounds good.
That's great. Before we leave, though, does anyone have a nagging, tugging feeling about that cloaked human who praised your performance? Should we investigate that at all?
He had a lovely beard.
Well, that
care?
makes something.
He did.
Should we at least find out who he was before we leave town?
Hey, bartender.
Oh,
The barkeep looks over. Yes. I have a
darling.
question.
Yes. That bearded, hooded gentleman at the end of the fight. Who is he?
You're certainly not from around here, are you?
You're not.
That was Earthbreaker Groon. He's the
What does he
Dawn
do?
Marshal of the entirety of these here braving grounds.
Dawn Marshal?
He's the Dawn Marshal. He is the highest esteemed cleric of the Church of Cord.
See what
Would
it
you
was
like me to go
about
with you,
that-
Grog, as your manager?
I would actually like both the twins to go with.
Grog, would you like any young boys to accompany you?
You can give them a medal.
So you guys are going with Percy to procure materials for forging new ammunition.
Yes.
All right. Thankfully, this region itself contains, honestly, most of the smithing-based materials and/or workshops that be required. The difficult part is finding black powder. Eventually, you find one smithy that gathers it. You're not entirely certain why. A kind of small hovel that is attached to the very base of the mountain that overlooks the entirety of the city.
Hello?
Yes?
I was sent here in terms to hopefully negotiate the purchase of some black powder. I've heard that
The door slams open at this point, mid-sentence, and you see from around the corner a very lithe, crooked-looking man, quite elderly, but very spry for his size. You can see his arms and legs are very lanky and almost spider-like in the way they move and shift as he peeks out, and you can see he has spectacles of 2 different sizes and thickness around each eye. His hair is kind of frazzled and gray and white. He goes, "Yes! You said you need black powder! Yes, come in! And he runs back into the hovel. As you step inside, the scent hits you immediately, and you realize this place is probably filled with black powder, and the last thing anyone wants is to set off any sort of flame. Barrels full of sulfur, there's barrels full of what looks like broken kind of onyx or broken quartz, and they're all been separated. And you can see now this is kind of his OCD collection, and there is indeed in the far end what looks to be a barrel that contains a large amount of black powder that is It's just everywhere. It's like this very fine coat of powder that is encompassing this entire room. And as he turns around, you can see now his hands himself are black and coated. And he goes,
So, you came looking for black powder, did you? No one asked about the black powder, but I knew it had a purpose. Yes. You wish to buy it? How much do you want? Speak up! Speak up! I haven't all day.
How much for a barrel or a hogshead's worth?
For the barrel. That'll run you. 4,623 gold pieces for the barrel. However, for a hogshead...
You can see now there's spittle dribbling down his chin.
It's as if I can see the spittle myself.
Yes, indeed.
But for the hogshead, which...
And he turns around and like shuffles through a bunch of pieces of burlap and sack and pulls out what looks to be an actual dried and hollowed out hogshead.
To fill this hogshead with it, this will only cost you 426 gold pieces.
20.
How about 400 even, and you can direct me to some ore as well?
Ore? I do not work in ore.
I thought you might have a friend.
Make a persuasion roll.
Nice, Percy. I love Percy. 25.
25.
I'm sure you have a friend. You must. You seem so amiable.
400. 400, I send you to Samson. Yes, you take?
My good sir, you have a deal.
Glorious!
He turns around and just jams the head into the barrel of black powder, picks it up. The soot kind of settles against you and the rest of you guys as you now find yourself partially covered in this slowly dissipating cloud of black powder. You cough instinctively and push it away.
400 gold. You pay?
I gingerly put the purse down in front of me.
He takes it with a whisk. It's already put away into a side pouch, and you hear the clanging of kind of haphazard coins in his far pocket.
Here. Okay, take it. To Samson, this way.
And he grabs your arm and drags you out of his hovel. He points across the way with this kind of shaking, crooked finger.
Samson, there, in the brick building. I tell him, Vitan sends you. He'll give you all. You want more powder? Come back.
I might do that.
Good. Goodbye.
And pushes you out, takes both of you by the arms and pushes you out, slams the door behind, and you are left kind of standing there half covered in blackened soot and black powder in the center of the thoroughfare midday, kind of stunned by the whole encounter.
I mean, come on.
Amazing.
Oh, no, fuck off.
Amazing.
Come on.
You walk to the distant brick building. The roof itself is just a solid slab of stone. There is no kind of pretty or elegant aspect of its construction. It's merely built for purpose. Ping! Ping! Yes?
Mr. Samson?
Yes?
Vic from... That strange fellow down the road sent me to you. He said you might have some more.
The head sinks into the shoulders of the sigh. All right, if you dealt with that crazy-old coot, at the very least I can offer you a brief conversation. Hold on just a second. All right, so what'd the old coot tell you, anyway?
He said you might have some raw ore for sale that I might purchase. You'll excuse me if I don't come in. I'm covered in explosive powder.
No, please stay there. For the love of Cord, stay on that doorstep. Do not step into my abode, please.
Yes, of
Please.
course. No. Yes.
Please. All right.
Rest.
What ore are you interested in? Would you like ingots? I prepare ingots. They're a little more expensive, but they're proper and ready for any sort of use for blacksmithing materials.
Ingots would be preferable, yes.
All right. How many are you looking for? 5, 10, 20?
Let's say about £100 worth.
100 pounds iron ingots? I could sell that to you. I'd say, let's set the price at about 400 gold pieces.
Think of me.
Let's say 350 gold, and I promise to always shower twice before entering your home for my next purchase.
Make a persuasion roll.
All right. 24.
24 goes. Underneath all that soot, I can see you dress well at the very least. A bit tattered around the edges. I like for future business. So, say 350 and take the ingots and please do shower next time.
Of course. You are a gentleman and apparently a worthy smith as well. I do bid you good day then.
I've already completed the transaction. Flattery is not required. He reaches over and sets it up onto a small cart and brings it over to you. And it's a small kind of wheeled wooden cart. It looks really rickety and probably about to collapse. But he does not charge you for it and hands it over to you. It can be hand carried if need be.
We're going to see Earthbreaker.
Yeah.
Earthbreaker.
Rune.
All right, you guys make your way to the Trial Forge. The large temple to court itself is once again brilliant to behold. There are steps that lead up to the front area. These giant, reddish, almost rusted over-looking iron doors that block the front entrance. And at the very top of it, you see looming over this entire district is a gargantuan statue of Cord himself. This giant, muscle-bound humanoid titan of a figure that stands there. Giant beard, muscle-bound torso. You step up to the front of these iron doors and you can see there are two more bastions adorned in the same way the ones that oversaw the battle at the Crucible. One shouts out, "Halt! What is your business here?"
Yes, we are here to see, to pay homage to Earthbreaker Grune.
The Earthbreaker is a fan.
I highly doubt that.
About 5 minutes pass, the next one comes back and whispers into his ear.
That's you casting a spell. That's
Very well. The four of you may enter briefly.
The one bastion that left and came back and whispered in his ear comes up and leans into you guys and gives you a nod. He doesn't actually speak to you, but gives you a hand gesture to follow. Leads you into the Trial Forge, and you can see now these halls it's essentially one long hallway. It's an arch about 85 to 100 feet up. But as you step in, your footfalls clack against a black marble floor with what looks like gold streaks through it. And at the center place of this temple, there is a raised dais at three different levels. And at the top of it, you can see there is a beam of light that comes down from above. As you begin to walk towards the structure, you see there is a small figure that is currently sitting on top of this central dais. As you approach the outskirts of this main central chamber where the two long hallways intersect, the quiet bastion puts his hand out and tells the rest of you to stop, gives you a look, and nudges you to proceed.
I go forward.
Sitting in the center, you see, cross-legged, arms to the side, eyes closed, there sits Earthbreaker Groom, Don Marshall himself, quiet, as you approach. You see an eyebrow kind of twitch for a second, the eyes remain closed and the head turns for a second, and in that one motion stands to his feet, almost like it was effortless, rotates and turns towards you, the eyes open. And you saw pupils previously, but in this moment of what seems to be serious meditation, there is this luminescent white light that encompasses the entirety of each eye.
You have found the Earthbreaker. What do you ask of me?
I happened to see you amongst the crowd at my recent tussle. It seemed that everyone there seemed to know who you were. I wanted to at least introduce myself.
Gorgrog, the Victorious, known as one of VOX MACHINA, the traveling band from Iman.
Oh, shit.
Slayer of demons that once usurped Uriel himself. I know of your travels. I know of your deeds.
I only mean to say that VOX MACHINA is at your disposal if you would ever need someone outside of the amazing Braving Grounds, Vasselheim. We're really amazing.
From underneath his beard, you can see a smile slowly crawl across his cheeks. His hands release and rest to his side.
Perhaps there may be a use for court of you and your compatriots in the future. There will be a day I call for you, Grog the Victorious. Stay alive.
I mean to. Thank you. It has been an honor being in your presence.
He steps back to his position originally. He turns around and sits back into his meditative position, closes his eyes, and disappears back into the same place where you originally saw him.
I turn around and I go, guys, his fucking eyes are glowing. Yeah, we should go. He's cool.
Do you think I should shit somewhere?
No.
Okay, we'll just go there. We'll just go there.
Yeah, sand shit and out.
But you eventually meet up with the rest of Vox Machina. You carrying, to your side, strapped a dried hog's head filled with black powder, and a cart of about 100 pounds of iron ingots. You look over and you can see the airship, which is a little not too hard to see from this distance, is currently being outfitted, actually being finalized, being outfitted with brand new ballista. Remember those giant dragon-headed ballista you saw settle on the walls in the outskirts of Vasselheim? Those have now been affixed to the airship, as the previous air encounter it had. They didn't seem to quite cut the defense aspect of it.
Since I came in at the halfway mark, I really wanted to go to an ink specialist here in Vasselheim before we left. So can we retcon and go backwards and say that I got the elven sounds for v and
it's Vox
put right there.
Tattooed on his fucking wrist.
Elven. And I learned arithmetic, and I had a knack for it. She didn't.
I did not.
But I did. And I would like to get, it was called an icosahedron. Right.
Yes.
Right,
Excuse me.
Right here. Right here.
As you've had this done over the past few days, as you were awaiting the return of the other team, you've had the time to do so. You just haven't quite revealed it to the rest of your allies yet.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
But you guys look over your shoulder, and as you're talking about taking the airship, Tiberius has crafted a runic circle into the ground that itself is beginning to pulse with arcane energy.
I walk right through it and say, Tiberius, where are we going?
Imon. I go
All
through
right,
it too.
and you are currently in the center of the Traverse Junction within the Alabaster Lyceum.
I pop on out and I say hello again.
Yes. Oh, you've returned.
Yes.
Well, this time I would like you to fill out the proper paperwork. And he, from underneath his desk, slams down what looks to be a cluster of about 25 papers. I require you to fill these out so I do not lose my job here in the Lyceum.
Vax fills out the entire thing except for the final signature and says, Scanlan.
I'll just sign
Just
my
paperwork.
name.
I don't see what the bloody problem is.
Yeah, that works too.
All right.
Oh, shaped like a helmet.
Thank you kindly.
This is what I think.
You are free to go.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
A real pleasure.
Very much so.
See you next
Thank
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
Thank you.
so
You know what I think?
So
Here we
much.
go.
You know what I
Roll it
think?
this
I
way.
think you guys hate each other, actually.
We're good. Everything's fine.
You guys make your way through from the Cloud Top District to the southern edge of Iman, to the lower slums, outside of the city along the southern wall. As you approach the front gate, you see what looks like a tent, like a large, thick burlap or linen brown tent is just
At our
set up
house?
right outside of you
That
guys.
wasn't there before.
What?
Cordo's kind of looking over the edge. As you guys approach, he gives you a wave.
Oh, hi.
Hello!
And you can see Shane kind of runs up next to him off the top. She has her crossbow at the ready. She goes, "Oh, finally you've arrived. I'm so glad you could make it. Yes, this has been here for about 2 weeks now." At which point you hear like sudden rustling from the inside of the tent, and a face pops out briefly. You see before you what looks to be a young man, probably in his late teens, like 19, 20 years old, haphazardly dressed in scale mail armor, a longsword, crossbow, and hand axe, and buckler all dangling from his belt, weighing him down slightly. His dark brown eyes peer from beneath his short, tousled ash blonde hair, and a nervous yet excited smile flashes across his face. "Oh, you've returned! Aye, I'm Kynan Leore, son of Harold the Butcher, and I wish to join you in your travels."
Oh, darling, you're so brave and strong.
Vox Machina has been together for many years, and we've forged our bonds of friendship.
And
for
I
many
can forge my win. I can prove myself.
How?
What is your skill, sir?
I have been training day and night for months until I was ready to fight alongside you all, and I humbly offer my sword as part of Vox Machina.
Ah, your sword.
Yes, I'm a skilled swordsman.
You are.
Well, show us.
I have an idea.
I trained under old Leonard Fike, an ex-guard captain of Iman himself.
I flip a dagger in my hand and I go to the back of his head. Don't worry, I'm using the flat end. Oh, good, that's a 17.
Plus whatever.
Plus a high number.
Oh, you rolled 17.
Yeah. The boy needs a lesson. This is not a life for a child. Okay, that's good.
Oh, Jesus. It's like a million.
So total of 66 damage.
66 damage, yeah.
You just whoosh behind him and whack right to the temple. It's like, I'm a swordsman. I'm trained. And he just goes straight down into a pile.
I pull out one of my remaining healing potions.
Why?
Right? And I shove it in his mouth
Why
like
would
this.
you do that that to
And let it go.
him. He
Go,
was
go, go,
just
go, 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 down in.
All right.
Hi, darling.
Take him by the lapels. Things move very fast with us. I don't think you understand what you're asking for. If you think you can handle that,
Axeldon.
listen to me.
You're selling him on this big time.
It's dangerous. You could die any given day. So could I. So could she. So could him. Are you really interested in this?
Make an intimidation check.
16.
There's his heart breaking.
You were heroes.
Oh.
I waited 2 weeks to meet you.
How could you do that?
Tell me your name again.
Kyman.
Kyman.
Hang out. Doesn't matter at all. You're right.
And he kind of puts his hand up and kind of pushes you away and gets back, pulls the fish out of your hands and kind of takes a few steps away and looks over his shoulder. You can see now there's tears welling up in his eyes. And he goes, I just wanted to be a hero.
Wait.
Kyman.
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 Come back when you're ready. Come back again. Train yourself. And I personally will be your mentor.
Just make a persuasion roll.
It's a 20! How that one?
Natural 20?
Yes.
He looks at you, the tears welling up in his eyes, kind of blinks them away for a second and sniffles them. You mean that?
I promise.
He grasps the sword that's currently sheathed aside. I will. I'll make you proud. And he runs back to his tent, and you see him starts gathering up his things, and he begins tearing it down, and he's pulling it up, and he's kind of like, you can see he's the tears are still coming from beneath his grimace, but he's steeled his expression.
I walk over
intensity and
to him,
promise.
all right? These people can't hear this. I kneel down next to him. I was once like you. I didn't know what I wanted or where I was going. I just want you to be ready. You're starting from ground zero. You're gonna work your way up. And I promise you, I will be ready for you no matter what Mercer throws at me. I promise.
Mercer's our god.
Right.
I take him by the hair. Don't question
Kiss
it.
him.
Just come back.
Don't kiss him, he's 16.
Right on his forehead.
Okay. He gathers the rest of his tent and things and kind of piles it and he's like speechless at this point. You can see he's partially torn between like wanting to look hard and ready to do this, and also still kind of blown away by the fact that he's even encountered you guys after all this time. And he takes the rest of his stuff and holds it in one arm and just darts off down the path towards the river, and then hops over it, and then makes his way towards the rest of Iman and vanishes into the distance. At which point you hear a voice ring out from across the courtyard of the keep. You see across the way, Lena, your joyful housekeeper, comes rushing out, arms open to greet you all.
It's been so kind. It's been far too long. It's so good to see all of you. Sorry, that reminds me. Hold on.
And she pulls out a little piece of paper. You recognize it. It's used in various arcane messaging. And she kind of pulls out a small quill and dabbles it and starts writing a quick message on it. It disappears.
What was that?
I'm sorry. I was given that just in case you all returned.
Who gave you that? What was that?
Seeker Assum Emring of the Council. The Ranger.
We should instruct the security guards to, if there's a tent outside of the keep, they should just burn it down.
No.
At least inquire and not let it
I
happen
brought
again.
him biscuits every morning. He was so sweet.
Yeah,
That was.
If he comes back, let him in. If I'm not here, let him use my room for as long as he likes, and I'll pay for it.
Okay, it'll be done.
Don't let him
Feeling
use my
guilty
room.
that you knocked him out, bro.
No, I feel perfectly justified.
Right, you guys make your way into the keep. Lena immediately rushes off to the kitchen, begins preparing a welcome back meal for all of you. You can smell after the next 10-15 minutes pass by, that scent of freshly cooked meats and baking bread begins to fill the air around Grey Skull Keep. You can see a little bit of the light echoing through from the temple to Saren Ray, the stained glass itself, and for a moment you all kind of take a sad memory of Pike, wherever she is, hopefully to return to very soon.
Here's the thing, Scanlan, how do you look through your poo?
I'm feeling a little bit pike sick right now. I could concentrate very hard.
Just
and
concentrate for a moment and see what she's doing. Tell us what you see. Unless she's naked, in which case stop looking.
and of course, I would definitely stop looking if I saw her naked in front of my poo.
You sit down and close your eyes and begin to concentrate. And a darkened chamber that is lit by a series of torches. Before you, you see the Temple of Sarenrae is partially uncovered. A small, kind of light, white-haired gnome figure that is currently kind of acting as foreman for this whole construction process and is giving orders and shouts to the other individuals here.
Oh, sorry.
Glancing about, you see her step over, and one person kind of trips and drops a stone, and she walks up to them and takes them by the shoulder and lifts them back up and gives them a little hug, and then picks up the stone and carries it with them over to where it belongs on the side of one of the walls.
Fired that person, but okay.
What'd you see?
She was definitely naked.
Really?
No, she was just being pike-driven, radiant, beautiful, and empowered by the spirit of Sarenrae. She's everything that we think of her and more. She's beautiful and charming. And
I'm raising my flask and I say, to Pike.
To Pike.
Pike.
To Pike.
The best in all of us.
As you all drink, a familiar voice echoes from across the hallway. Seeker Asim Emmering arrives into the doorway. You can see him, he's wearing dark, looks like studded leather armor, a very, very deep green cloak about his shoulders. Even at the council meetings, he's dressed for utility. And he seems to be that individual who has his eye in many places in the room at once. He's a ranger by trade and paranoid by nature. His head is shaved bald and he has tattoos across one side of his halfling face. Greetings, I'm sorry to interrupt your meal. I was notified that you have arrived and, business I would like to discuss if you have a moment. While you were gone, a venture has been put into motion. In celebration of the agreed-upon construction of a grand bridge across the shearing channel to the eastern continent of Wynandir, a dinner is being held here within a week, helmed by one Lord and Lady Briarwood of Whitestone. They are probably en route as we speak. Now I'm here because few things escape my eye. Percival, when last we were company, you had shifted so very uncomfortably at the mention of these two. I ask why.
Had I? I hadn't noticed.
I did.
I've had dealings with them before. I find them untrustworthy.
I have my reservations as well. My network has been watching their acquisition of Whitestone since the Dorello family fell with disease, and there are far more questions than answers. I've sent operatives to inquire, but each has sent me a letter of resignation, instead of choosing to stay within Whitestone under my employ. Now, our sovereign requested that I extend an invitation to this coming dinner, and if so, if I can trust you to keep an eye while I do my work.
Let's say your blessing.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, we will attend.
Very good. I will contact you in the next few days, and we shall discuss further. He sits up from his feet.
We're having bread pudding for dessert now.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. If you'll excuse me, I have a
Like
bit of work
7
to do
days in a week?
downstairs.
Go to Craghammer and back.
And with that, he turns around and leaves. And it's one of those individuals where as he walks away, and this catches your eye in particular, for a moment you have to admire the fact that he takes not but 2 steps, and for a second you swear he was walking, had about 15 feet to the door, and he's just gone.
He's good.
And with that, we shall end.
Oh, but I want to talk to Percy.
So now we want
have to pick that up next week.
Just ran off to the basement to his
Yes,
workshop.
I did.
We have an amazing letter from K Strong, aka Ducky. A receipt and or a letter from Gilmore's Glorious Goods to Mr. Shorthalt.
A receipt. We here at Gilmore's Glorious Goods strive for the highest standards in customer service and satisfaction. Based on your recent purchasing history, you've proven yourself a connoisseur of the unique and singular magics. As such, we would like to recommend the following enchantments.
That is a receipt for these.
It is a receipt for your...
For these enchantments.
I get enchantments?
God.
Apparently, these are spells that have been...
DM, Lord Farron's Fighting Coiffure. 5th level enchantment.
Good
You create a sleek, perfectly casual hairstyle that will maintain its form for 48 hours. Giving you
allow
+3 to deception and +2 to persuasion. And +2 to AC. It says so right there, DM. Sorry.
I'll think it over.
Bert's porn stash, 5th level. Lasts 10 minutes. You create a magnificent mustache of imposing coal black pimpness above your upper lip. Oh my god, this is amazing. Creatures must make a charisma saving throw and have disadvantage on all melee attacks versus the sheer awesomeness of the porn stash.
You know, Lord Farron's fighting coiffure is good, but it's not quite as good as Mercer's magic mullet.
Party in the back, business up front.
That
This ain't short in the front, motherfucker.